Hello everyone, this is Grade 3, Module 5, Lesson 25, Homework. The directions for 1 say, label the following models as fractions inside the boxes. So I see that my key off to the side here says, each triangle is one whole, and that's where we get our units from, is looking at the one whole. So when I look at this first one here on the right, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So my units is fourths because I'm looking at the one whole piece. And I see that 4 of them are shaded. So 4 fourths equals the one whole. When we take a look at the next one over, we're still only going to find our units, we want to look at just one of the wholes. And we see it's broken into 2, or halves. So now I'm going to count up how many halves I see shaded. I see 1 half, 2 halves, 3 halves, 4 halves. And I know that 4 halves is equivalent to 2. And that's showing 2 of these right here. So to get my bottom number, my denominator, my unit, I have to look at one of the wholes. So now down below, when I look at one of these wholes, I see one part, that's it. And how many of them do I have shaded? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. And I know that 4 over 1 means there's 4 copies of one whole. I see one hole here, 2 or 3, and then 4. So I have 4 one holes right there, and that's what that means. So if we look down at the next piece, it's a very similar thing. The circle is one hole, so I got to look at my circle to get my units, my one circle. So for this first one, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces, meaning my unit is eighths. And I see that 8 of them are shaded. And I know that when the numerator and the denominator are the same, it means one whole. So when I look at the second part, I'm still going to look at one whole and get my units. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm talking in terms of fourths. So now how many are shaded? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 fourths. And I know that that's equivalent to 2 wholes. And that's what I have shaded up here. Now down below, very similar to what we did up above, I look at my first, or one of my wholes, and I see that there's only one part to it, meaning it's the whole amount. Now I count how many wholes are shaded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 over 1 means there's 8 copies of one whole. Kind of like up here when we had 8 copies of a quarter. And we do. We have 8 quarters up there. Down here we have 8 one wholes, meaning that equals 8. So we're going to try to transfer this over to page 2 when we take a look at them on a number line. So let's look at page 2. And we'll look at the first one together. And it says, fill in the missing whole numbers in the boxes below the number line. Rename the wholes as fractions in the boxes above the number line. So 0, when we're talking in terms of wholes, that's our unit. So wholes are going to be out of 1. So 0 out of 1. I have 2 out of 1, or 2 over 1, or 2 wholes is going to equal 2. 4 wholes means 4 copies of one whole, or 4. 6 copies of one whole is 6. So anytime we see this number, if we put it over 1, it's going to be the fraction as wholes. And you see 8 over 1 equals 8, 10 over 1 equals 10, 12 over 1 equals 12. And so on as you get down into these fractions down below. 15 over 1 means 15. 16 over 1 is 16. 17, how do I turn it into a fraction? Well, we're showing it's 17 wholes. So 17 copies of one whole. So after you finish that up, we have number 3 that says explain the difference between these fractions with words and pictures. I know that this means 5 copies of 1 whole. So I'm going to draw 5 1-wholes. And I'm going to shade them in to show that they're shaded copies of 1 whole. And this one means 5 copies of fifths, or my unit fraction of 1/5, or 1/5. So I can draw this, and I see here's 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. So 5 over 1 means you have 5 wholes, or 5 copies of 1 whole. 5 over 5 means 1 whole, because we have 5 copies of fifths, or 1/5. And 5 copies of 1/5 is going to give us our 5 over 5. And I know that when I have a numerator and the denominator that are the same, it's equivalent to 1. Hope this helps, and good luck on your homework. Thanks for watching.